Om Shanti. So we always think about being happy and we don't want to be unhappy. And today Baba says, sweet children, body consciousness makes you very unhappy. What makes us unhappy is body consciousness. Therefore, become soul conscious. By becoming soul conscious, your burden of sins will end. Now, why do we become unhappy when we are body conscious, and how can we become happy by being soul conscious? So you see that this world, so this is a drama. Baba has explained this existence with this word drama. And Baba says there is a world drama going on. And in this world drama, pairs of opposites exist. And what are the pairs of opposites? The pairs of opposites are fame and defamation, success and failure, light and dark, happiness and sorrow, pleasant circumstances, unpleasant circumstances. Yes, so life and death. So, there'll be birth, there'll be death. And this is how the play is designed. So, and both of them, when you look at a pair, both the components are true. So, it will be praise sometimes, and it will be defamation sometimes. Yes, it will be success sometimes, it will be failure sometimes. It will be light sometimes, and it will be dark sometimes. But in body consciousness, we learn this language. This is good and that is bad. And this is right and that is wrong. So when you say that praise is good, defamation is bad, then obviously there will be half praise and half defamation. So half the time you have scripted yourself to be sorrowful. So it cannot be, so just like, in a drama, so you go and watch a movie, it cannot be happy beginning, happy middle, and happy end. It's happy beginning, happy ending, but in the middle, there'll be a lot of other stuff. And in this world drama also, there is a variety of things that will happen. And nothing is good or bad, it just is. And when we are, so Gyan teaches us that when you look at something, you don't say it's good or bad, you say it's a scene in the drama. So what does Gyan teaches? Gyan says, when you look at something, when you are in a scene of the drama, you don't say this is good and this is bad, you say this is a scene in the drama. You don't say I like it, I don't like it, you say this is a scene in the drama and I am watching like a detached observer. Yes, I'm watching like a detached observer. Every scene. So if you like something, you will dislike something else. That's the law. If you say this is good, you will definitely say this is bad. So, and I think the problem with bhakti is you're trying to be good. And the thing in Gyan is you're trying to be you, not good. You are trying to be you, and there is a difference between trying to be you and trying to be good. Because when you are trying to be you, then you accept the other as they are. And when you're trying to be good, then you say, oh, the other one is bad and I'm good. So, soul consciousness is when you understand who you are and you do as you are, and there is nothing good or bad about it because you do that which is you and you do that which is comfortable for you. And you understand that every soul is different. Every scene is different, every soul is different, and variety is the spice of life. And I am me, and I'm just trying to go back to be me because I was not comfortable being who I had become. Yes, we came to Gyan looking for something. We were not comfortable in our own skin. We were not comfortable being who we were. Our conscience was biting us. We were confused. We didn't know what to do. So now we are trying to just be who we are so that we are comfortable with ourselves. And it's not about being good. It's about being you. Because every BK is also different. We listen to the same Gyan and we are all just taking what suits us and we are going back to who we are. And we are all different. And when you start getting who you are, then and you are comfortable with yourself, you are happy with everyone else. And you are happy with everything else because you are okay being yourself. And when you are body conscious, you are trying to be good and you are trying to do that which you don't like, or you are not, you are not, you don't understand that that's what you want. It's all imposed with force. So, when people say you be good, then it's, so why discipline is very hated, because it's imposed with force. And goodness is difficult because it's imposed with force, but Baba doesn't force. Baba is very gentle. Baba just looks at us from an elevated vision. He has a very elevated vision for us. He has regard for us, respect for us. And he talks to us as God's children. And then something inside us starts getting stirred, because that's what's there inside. It's not being created or injected. It's there and it starts getting stirred, and then you start doing things that make sense to you very naturally. And you don't do it for anyone. You don't do it for, I don't think you do it even for Baba. You do it because that makes sense to you. And then you come back to being you, that soul conscious. And then when you are you, then you like everyone as they are. So this is being soul conscious. And being body conscious is all about, just dancing to the tune of situations and behaviors and, this is bad, this is good, this is right, this is wrong, should do this, shouldn't do this. So, if you keep, wagging a finger at yourself that I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do that, then you'll keep doing the same thing to the other. And that's what we keep doing. And that's why we are unhappy and we make other people around us unhappy. So there is a lot of difference between living life in a soul conscious manner and in a body conscious manner. And in a soul conscious approach, there is no, you don't use the language, this is right and wrong, good and bad. It's just, it is what it is, and you are who you are, and I am who I am, and we play our roles, and every soul is essentially respectful and loveful. So if we are all ourselves, we will be essentially respectful and loveful, because that's the essence. It's all this other stuff that creates confusion, and it creates a stage where we are struggling with ourselves, so we struggle with others also. So Baba says that body consciousness makes us very unhappy. And just look at it, and there is this, I'll give you a very simple, it's a very, very simplistic way of putting it, but I'll still say it. So, there are people who ask us, how can you wear white sari every day? Yes, and they're very amazed at how we can continue, they find this monotonous, and every day wearing the same thing is very difficult for them. And if you ask me, I cannot imagine thinking so much about dressing up every day. It doesn't come to me. And I really cannot imagine, shopping for 10 different kinds of clothes and knacking my brain in what to match with what. I feel that's too much of work. And I feel this comes very naturally to me. And the other stuff comes naturally to someone else. And both are okay. There is no problem with this or that. But the only thing that we have to arrive at is being comfortable with who we are. Yes, and when you are okay and you have found your peace within, you can appreciate the place from which everyone is coming. Yes, and basically, our life is all about projecting who we are. So, if you are soul conscious, then soul conscious means happy, loveful, peaceful, blissful. They are all products of being soul conscious. And when you are soul conscious, and being soul conscious is, so we have had 63 births of body consciousness, and coming back to soul consciousness is imbibing everything that Baba says, because everything that Baba says, when you become an embodiment of that, then you become soul conscious. So being soul conscious is not a one-day thing, but when you are soul conscious, then your man, buddhi and sanskar. So, consciousness is like this switch. So, sometimes you have a main switch which controls all the other switches. So consciousness is like that main switch. And when you switch that on, then so your mind, buddhi and your sanskar, all three operate at a higher stage, elevated stage. So if you tune into soul consciousness, then your mind will be peaceful, loveful, happy, blissful, powerful, full of pure thoughts. Your buddhi will naturally go to Baba. You will not have to Always ask yourself to, why are you not meditating? Why are you not remembering Baba? You will naturally remember Baba. And all your good sanskars, the benevolent ones, the giver sanskars, deity sanskars, they will emerge. And today in the Murli, Baba says that, can you not do good to anybody? You are the child of the benefactor. And it should come naturally to you. And there was this, I once saw an image where there is a child, and so there is this statue where there is a mother kangaroo and there is a child kangaroo, and the kangaroo is here, down here, and the mother kangaroo is up there, and the child kangaroo is like calling out to the mother to lift it, and that's a statue. And there's this little child, and he is trying to lift the baby kangaroo into the mother kangaroo's sack, because he thinks that this is real, and he has that sense and sensibility to go and offer his help to the statue. So he's a small child and he has that giver consciousness. So you see that when we are soul conscious, we are not in so when we are not worldly wise and ego is not pervading our buddhi, then naturally, our good sanskars, the giver sanskars emerge. The deity sanskars emerge. Our buddhi naturally goes to Baba. Our mind naturally feels the original sanskars of the soul. Our thinking is pure and peaceful and loveful. So Baba says, you just have to tune into soul consciousness. But soul consciousness, we will arrive at soul consciousness if we practice all the four. So, there is knowledge. There are several points of knowledge that Baba gives us every day. And just like we discussed the knowledge of the drama, that everything is just a scene in the drama, and the scene is not good, not bad, it is just a scene. So if you imbibe every point of knowledge like this, and then you sit and reflect on the fact that you're just a point, and inside of you there is a recording which is very different from everybody's recording. Yes. And then you practice purity, because if you keep drawing in the vibrations of impurity through impure vision and hearing and food, then it's very difficult to become soul conscious. So purity is an integral part of going back to soul consciousness. And then seva. So when you give, you kind of settle your account of burden in a very, your account of charity offsets your account of sin in some ways. So Baba says that you also earn good karma through seva. So all these four subjects, when we pay attention to, we slowly become soul conscious. And when we become soul conscious, we become happy. And if we are body conscious, we will definitely be unhappy. So, and happiness doesn't come from, there is this one person, and yesterday they told me, I'm a very happy person and I like to be happy and I like to make others happy. And then they were crying. And then they said, people are so ill-behaved around me that I'm not happy and I'm not able to give others happiness. So I said, you will not get happy by crying that I'm happy. So you will be happy because, you cannot, we are saying, I want happiness, and then you can't get happiness by begging for it. Yes, because in the scene of the drama, what is there, and it is a predestined drama. So every 5,000 years, you will get the same scenes. So you cannot say, change this character, change this scene, and then I'll be happy. No. Baba says, you have to shift to soul consciousness to be happy. You have to train yourself in the knowledge of the drama, in the knowledge of the soul, in the knowledge, in the imbibing of purity, in filling your heart with love and happiness from Baba. When you keep doing that, you will become happy. Okay, so all those who say I am not happy, Baba has given a very beautiful and simple formula. And then today Baba says that, so Baba asks us a question today. Baba says, will you become an emperor or a wealthy subject, or will you become poor? Speak, what will you become? So, when we are children, parents ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? So, Baba is also asking us, tomorrow, who do you want to become? So, we are going to Satyug, and there in Satyug. So, once you're taking the classes, you're going to Satyug. That's given, okay? So there is no there is no chance we are not going to Satyug. So we are going to Satyug. That's given. And then, but Baba says, what do you want to become? Do you want to become an emperor? Do you want to become a wealthy subject? Or do you want to be a poor person? And you know what Baba says further also. So, wealthy people will also have maids and servants. Do you want to end up being that? And there is this one brother who said, sister, you people say that you should accept everything, and then you're talking about whether you want to be a king or a wealthy person in Satyug, and that's very, that's greedy, and I'm okay with whatever I become in Satyug. So I am like very contented, and I'm not greedy of becoming an emperor in Satyug. So I didn't tell him anything. And then when he was walking away, I said, oh, I think your purse just slipped and the 2000 rupees note fell on the ground. And then he just, he was very urgently, he started to pick it up. And then there was no purse and there was no money. And then I told him, I thought you were not greedy and you don't mind losing 2000 rupees. And then he said, no, but so I said, you see, I told you about 2000 rupees, but even if you lost 1 rupee, you will feel sad. So don't give me this lecture on I'm not greedy. The thing is, you don't believe there is a Satyug coming. So you're not working for it. And because you don't believe it, you don't mind. But if you believe it, you know it, then you will be interested in figuring out who you are going to become. And when children are young, they don't understand that whatever they do today is going to affect their position and status tomorrow. Yes, we don't understand that. We abuse our bodies, our minds, our time, our energy, everything. And I have seen, there are children who, I'm not even talking about not studying or something, but when you go for games and stuff, you are not physically aware that you don't have to mess up with your body, and then you sometimes, in some game, you have stretched your legs so much or your back so much that damage that has happened there is irreparable. And then I have heard it from 60-year-old people and 80-year-old people that they sprained this when they were young and they are still in pain because of that. and that tissue didn't get recovered. So, when we are young, we don't understand that the consequences of what we do today will last very long. And sometimes, I have always also seen that when you're young, you talk in a manner that you rub people the wrong way, and you mess up your relationships, and then you pay for it all your life. Or you waste your time, you don't pay attention to studies, and then you repent for it. Or you don't know how to handle stress, and you mess up your mind, and then you pay for it. So, being a visionary is very important, and there is nobody else who can show us all the three aspects of time other than Baba. So only Baba enables us to see very clearly that whatever we are doing is creating our future. And I tell you, uh, the future in Kali Yuga is not in our hands pretty much, because 63 births of karmic settlement, and they have to be carried out, and there's not much we can do about what's going on here. But if we just listen to Srimat, we will be able to create a destiny after this, which will last for 21 births, and where we can fix a place, fix a position the way we want. And Baba is telling us very clear rules about this. And it's a question of faith. Yes, and faith is a question everywhere. So, Badi Didi used to tell us one story, and she used to say that when there was partition, and when people were moving from, undivided India and finding a place in, this divided India, then so Didi was telling that they were in a part of India that became Pakistan at that time. So, you incidentally belong to that part now. So you have to move in here. So now, when they were moving in here, they had to leave their places and their bungalows and their property and everything. And at that time, the government said that you fill out a form, and and whatever you write in the form about what you have here, we will give you an equal, commensurate, exact, proportionate return there, and you can have the same amount of land or something in India. And then there were some people who were so disappointed with this whole partition thing that they said, okay, I don't trust the government, I don't have the faith in the government, so let us just move and we'll figure out, and we don't have anything to do with the government now, we are really disheartened. And they didn't fill out a simple form. And guess what? There were some who did fill the form, and there were some who didn't fill the form, and they both came together here. And when they came, they figured out that the government is giving what they promised, but only if you have filled the form there. And it was a big shock to those who didn't fill out that form. So you see that faith is so important. And faith, and I have always seen that faith is required in very little things, very, very little things. Like I gave you this example of filling a simple form. And you did that because of faith, that okay, if the government says, it will give it. And sometimes you have faith in the other person, and then you just just take their word for what they are saying, and they become your friend for life, because nobody showed faith in them and you showed faith in them. And I've seen so many people say this to me, Didi, you showed faith in me, and I will do as you say. I've not even seen Baba, but I'll do as you say because you showed faith in me. And faith is such a simple thing, and there are simple acts of faith. And those simple acts of faith lead to very big returns. But again, there is a difference between faith and, uh, you know, faith. You don't have to have faith in impure souls, because impure souls are under the sway of Maya. So they could, even knowingly or unknowingly, sometimes out of weakness also, they might abuse your faith. So you must have faith, and you should know where to have faith. And faith in Baba is very important. And even if, we are new to Gyan or anything, but even if it's just been 21 days, 25 days, 30 days in Gyan, Baba has given you 3,000 reasons in these 30 days to have faith in Him. And I'm sure we are sitting here for a reason. And it is that reason that we have to dig into for building that faith. And then Baba says, I tell you that what you are doing today is going to fix your status in Satyug. And Baba says that, do you want to be a king or a wealthy person or a poor person? And then Baba tells us clearly what we need to do in order to not be one and be the other. So let's understand what we need to do if you want to be a king. So how many want to be a king in Satyug? And for how many poor is okay? So, and what about those who are not raising their hands? You don't, so again, you're making the same mistake which those people made, right? Fill out your form, it's very important. So don't become, so there, every second is important. And um, don't delay. Hurry up in making decisions about who you want to be and act accordingly. And Baba today says, you become wealthy on the basis of imbibing knowledge. So you want to be a wealthy person in Satyug, you imbibe knowledge. So we know knowledge, Baba is giving us knowledge, but imbibing it into our actions. So yesterday Baba gave us the knowledge of when to wake up, when to sleep. Did we imbibe it today? So knowledge is the knowledge of every karma, the knowledge of consciousness, the knowledge of what attitude we should have, the knowledge of what words we should speak, the knowledge of the language we should use, the knowledge of how we should think, the knowledge of what karma we should do with the body, with our wealth. Everything Baba gives us in the Murli. And Baba says, you imbibe knowledge, then you become wealthy. So these points of knowledge are like currency. And when you imbibe knowledge, they transfer into real currency in Satyug. And Baba says, however much wealth of knowledge someone imbibes and then donates. So if you have knowledge and you have imbibed it, you will donate it. And sometimes even if you don't speak about it, you are an embodiment of knowledge, and people will figure it out from the way you conduct yourself and learn from your life, or your words, or the way you speak, or what you do. So Baba says, then he accordingly receives a wealthy status and becomes ever wealthy. So if you do this, you become a sahukar, a wealthy person. And then Baba says, study and also teach others. And in order to become a world emperor, you want to be a Raja, do a lot of royal service. So what is royal service? So royal service is, and Baba says, remove all defects. So, when you talk about royalty, you talk about perfection. So not leaving, so when there is no defect, Then you do royal service. Now, what is defect? So, I will give you one example. So, there was this brother, and he used to very diligently and very punctually and regularly attend to one sister and give her the course. And then, they ended up marrying each other. And and later we understood that both of them are not going to go to Satyug the way they have conducted themselves. So, you know, it's it's very interesting that outwardly it may appear like seva, but only you know what you're doing. So, sometimes your action is driven by lust, sometimes your action is driven by greed, sometimes your action is driven by attachment. So you're reading out a lot of Murli to your mother or your father because you don't want them to be in pain, and you're doing it out of a lot of attachment. So there is, and it's not like you don't read out the Murli to your mother or father. You must, but you have to check for what's driving your karma, because even when we outwardly say it's seva, we have to check very deeply, because seva is done with a pure intention. And the sign of pure intention is it will never make you disappointed. So, where there is pure intention, there can never be sorrow. So, but many people who do a lot of seva also, start saying that I did so much and then I didn't get this and didn't get that. And, they are not happy because of the seva, because it's done with impure intention. And the thing is, we don't know how to do karma without ego, attachment, greed, lust, anger. Do we know how to do karma without vices? All our karma is driven in Kalyug by vices. So when we do seva also, we start like that. So you start a seva, and it very much looks like a kitty party. So where and it looks like 5 people are coming together, and it's all ego driven, and you are trying to just, people used to do Bhagavad in bhakti also, and they used to just send out the message that I'm wealthy and I'm organizing this, and you are taking the benefit of it, and this and that. So there is a lot of ego and attachment and greed and lust that drives our actions in Kali. And then when we do royal seva means where there is no defect inside, where we are soul conscious. And when you do seva like that, that makes you a king. So Baba says, when there is no defect, when there is complete soul consciousness, you do because you are the child of the Almighty. You are the child of the bestower. So giving comes naturally to you. Yes, that's when you are so soul conscious and so in remembrance of Baba, then you do royal seva. And when you give because the giver is giving you too much, that's royal seva, and that makes you a king. And most people, they apparently do seva, but that seva doesn't count much because there is too much ego and expectation and evil intentions also sometimes behind it. And that's like consuming the fruit before, even before the fruit got ripened. So Baba says that's not seva, and Baba says that when you do this kind of seva, you become a king. So, and the yajna requires physical seva, financial seva, seva through the mind, seva through giving your time, or if you are an expert at something, you can just contribute your speciality. But when you do all of this in a soul conscious manner, after having removed defects, then that makes you a king. And very small gestures will make you win hearts and change fortunes. So Baba says this, and then Baba says, remember the Father with great patience, depth, and sincerity. So when you remember Baba, remembering Baba is not like reading the newspaper. There is a lot of patience, depth, and sincerity you need when you remember Baba. Om Shanti.